I've teased most of this story anyways, and during the course of back in September when I filled in for Hayes on Up, we had we did quite a bit on the Chicago teacher strike that was happening. I think at that time, if I remember correctly, this is back in September, and the implications also for poverty and education. Part of the teacher strike was an attempt to force the hand of the Chicago School Committee and the mayor, essentially from not force the hand and stop them from closing 50 schools in Chicago that, of course, serve poor kids. And Dave Zirin has a great piece up. But Wednesday afternoon, the Chicago Board of Education voted to close 50 reportedly underutilized schools, 49 elementary schools, and 1 public high school, in the largest round of school closures ever to occur in a single American city. The Chicago Teachers Union was protesting for 3 days leading up to Wednesday's decision. Opponents of the closures say that they would put children at risk by uprooting them from their learning environments and in some cases may require that they cross gang lines in order to get to their new schools. Supposedly this was done because of budget constraints that Chicago is undergoing. Dave Zirin points out that the city will be handing over more than $100 million. Some reports up to $173 million to DePaul University to build a new basketball arena. It is part of a mammoth redevelopment project on South Lakeshore Drive. And if I'm not mistaken, and I got to double check on this because this is just from my memory when we were talking about this issue in September, Penny Pritzker heavily involved in that mammoth convention center. Dave Zirin, the guy who writes about sports and politics for The Nation, points out that this is a nondescript basketball team that has gone 47 and 111 over the past 5 years. It's also miles away from DePaul's campuses. He says the reason why he points this out is because it gives you a sense of just how much the Chicago community is crying out for the city to spend literally over $100 million to build a stadium for this. I think in some respects it's also indicative of whether or not people are actually going to show up. The school closures are taking place entirely in communities of color while the city's elite feed with crazed abandon at an increasingly sapped trough. It must be pointed out that this deal, even by the standards of shady stadium deals, which Zirin has written quite a bit about, has people scratching their heads. Building an arena for a third-tier college basketball program as the heart of a new convention center? Zirin spoke to Neil DeMoss, co-author of the Bible on Stadium Boondoggles, Field of Schemes. And he said, I've seen dumber things than a mayor offering to spend $173 million in tax money on a building for a private college that already has its pick of several arenas to play in, but not much dumber. There is some speculation in Chicago that this money to build ostensibly this stadium there is really a Trojan horse to get a gambling casino into this convention center. I haven't read much on that. That is, Zirin presents it as one of the hot rumors, but it really is stunning. And it's indicative of what we're seeing. You know, remember, this guy was the chief of staff for the Obama administration, the first chief of staff. He headed the transition team. This is what we're seeing in the, in at least a large swath of the Democratic Party, so-called liberals.